Namaskar. I am Mauli Bavisker, founder and executive director of Damaru Yoga and Sound Therapy Studio. Mantra Musings. As we contemplate on the mantra, as I start these series of discussions and interactions about mantra, we will also talk of the base fabric from which the mantra originates, the fabric of Nada, the fabric of Shabda. So the sound and the word, we will talk about both, and the paraphernalia that surrounds this mysterious word mantra. But before we get into our topic, I want to ask you something. Do you know what is the Sanskrit translation of the word God? Well, actually, you won't find one word in Sanskrit for God. Strange, isn't it? A polytheistic culture with so many gods doesn't have one word for God. How is that? Well, wait, before you get into any judgment, God for us is more than a being, it is about a concept. It's a superset, and within which there is a range of meaning that we explore depending on whether we are connecting with the supreme being or the consciousness, or whether we are connected with a personal deity, the Ishtadevata. So depending on how you are connecting with the concept, you will name it. So when we talk about the supreme being, the infinite, the conscious existing universe, we talk about it and we call it Brahman. Something that is vast, infinite, bigger than what our minds can ever comprehend. But that sometimes is difficult for human minds, when you don't have a form, an identity, a structure, it's difficult to comprehend. So then we come down to a concept of Ishvara. And when we talk about Ishvara, we understand it in the manifestation of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. That which is the force that generates, the force that organizes, and the force that leads to dissolution. And again, we come to the word Devata. Devata, technically, if you understand, it comes from the root word Diva. It doesn't even mean God. It means the shining ones, or the beings who are bright and shining, Devata. Probably they are the beings who are more evolved than us, or tuned with a higher state of consciousness, but we do connect with them as our personal deities. So you see, there are so many layers to this word when we try and understand. So coming back to our topic, when we talk about Nada, when we talk about Shabda, what do we call it? The realm of Nada is called NaadaBrahman or Shabda Brahman. We don't call it Nada Ishvara or Nada Devata. It's the highest or the vast infinite fabric, rather the base foundational fabric of this whole universe. So that out of which the whole manifestation has sprung about, that vibration, that sound, that word, Nada Brahman, is what we are going to connect with in this series.
So isn't that mind-blowing? Well, it should be, because sound carries this capacity to take us beyond the realms of mind. With Nada Sadhana, one can transcend the bondages of this mind. So with that, we come to the standard definition of a mantra. Manana tatrayate iti mantraha. What does that mean? Well, that which, when recited, protects us. Tranam is to protect, is a mantra. There are so many other definitions of mantra. One in the Agama Rahasya, it says that which, when recited, confers us the knowledge of the universe and alleviates us from the bondages and miseries of the samsara or of the mind. That is a mantra. So mantras are a series of specific patterns of sound or vibration, frequencies put together, and these are very high energy signatures which, if you can decode, gives immense amount of knowledge. So that's a mantra. Bhagavan Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says that among the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. So Samaveda is a Veda that is full of the science of sound, the sonic science, the science of vibrations, frequencies, music. So that is what we are going to talk about. It is that scale that we are discussing. But at the same time, when I say the importance of Nada in the Indian cultural milieu, the importance of Nada or Shabda, both are seen across all the indigenous cultures. So in some cultures you will see the word or the name, Namasmarana, or there are the Gregoric chants, or the Egyptians. You see all the indigenous ancient cultures, they will have something to do with the sound, because sound actually, in a big way, it affects us. It actually configures, it can transform our whole fabric. So as I said, each sound and each word has a profound effect on us. Think about this. Visualize the sound of a bird singing. How does that make you feel? And now visualize the sound of an aeroplane taking off. How does that sound feel to you? So that's about sound. We're not even entered the language. Now let's come down to words and the way I address you. If I call you like, hello madam, please welcome. How does that make you feel? And if I say, hey you, come here, how does that feel? Or say if I tell you that, what is this behavior? You're behaving like an animal. How will you feel? Well, it depends on what animal I name or call you. So when I say, you donkey, you pig, you dog, see how different emotions are generated. That's the power of the word. Of course, that emotion is generated also because of the meaning connected to it. But the same word and the same meaning. Now let's come to the third aspect, the intention. So if I say, oh, you cute little rabbit, you don't take it as offensive, you find it sweet. The same animal, but the intention changes, the intonation changes, and the emotion or the feeling changes. Okay. So now we talked about the sound, we talked about the word and its meaning, we talked about the intention. The fourth thing, what if I don't know the meaning of the words spoken? Do they still affect me? Can they still affect me? Well, Sanskrit is not called a Deva Bhasha just like that. I'm sure you would have heard this recently popular term, the Sanskrit effect. So there's this study conducted, and there were MRI scans that were taken, and it showed that reciting Sanskrit mantras, it increases the size of the brain that is associated with the cognitive function, memory, and decision making. And mind you, this study is done in New York by an Italian scientist. So the Sanskrit effect has been well documented now. So Sanskrit language in itself, even when you do not know the meaning of the word, they still affect you in a very profound way. The higher centers, the cognitive centers of your brain, and it transforms you in a profound way actually. So Now, while we enter into this realm of mantras, we also talk about the sound of it, the intention of it, the pronunciation of it, the meaning of it, and the vibrational signs or the frequencies that these words carry. Before we get into the mantra nuances, I'm going to ask you something. And I am asking this because I lot of times get questioned by my students and they get confused between these so many words: mantra, shloka, sutra, stotram, stuti, bhajana. How are they different? What do they mean? And are you also seeking the meaning and clarification between these words? So I think that's the topic for my next video. Join us, and from there we will dive into the details of the science of mantra. Thank you.